Are you interested in going to Special Forces assessment and selection? Are you ready to attend and actually pass selection, get selected, move on to the Q course so you can get to one of the operational groups? If there's any delay or any hint of hesitation in your answer, more than likely you're not. And this is why I come in, guys. If you check out the links below, I have a link to my Patreon, which has a variety of prep courses on there geared towards helping you prep so you could attend and get selected. It's a small price to pay to live a life of either fulfillment or a life of regret. All right? I'll see you guys over at the Patreon. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, if this is your first time watching me, my name is Jay. I'm a retired Green Beret out of 3rd Special Forces Group. Guys, the intent behind this channel is to share my knowledge and wisdom with the next generation. So if you haven't done so already, like and subscribe to help me reach that goal. I appreciate it. Guys, today I wanted to cover combat controllers. Now, I know there's a variety of special operation units within the Air Force, right? Your special recon, your PJs, your surgical team, your TACPs. I understand all that, all right? But I want to make videos on units that I've actually worked with. So to all my other Air Force special operators out there, my apologies for not mentioning you guys, right? I just don't want to speak on something that I'm not as knowledgeable in. Now, for the viewers out there, if you are interested in joining the Air Force and hopefully gravitating towards special operations, you can go check out One's Ready. Awesome group of dudes over there. I had a chance to sit down with them and do a podcast, which if you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. Those guys are doing the same thing that I'm doing over here, only on the Air Force side, trying to educate you, the next generation, to hopefully join the Air Force and go towards special operations. So if you haven't checked them out, guys, go over there and check them out. They cover all the other Air Force special operation units that I don't have the knowledge to speak on over there, right? With all that said, guys, today I want to talk about combat controllers. Now, you guys know I'm a fan of those dudes, mainly because of what they do, right? The first time I've met a combat controller was back in 2008. I was going through airborne school, and there were some Air Force dudes there. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, why are you guys over here, man? You guys are Air Force. You guys have no reason to, be attending airborne school, right? Because to my ignorance, I didn't really know anything about Air Force special operations at that point. I was newly selected, E6, getting ready to go through the qualification course. I didn't really know the inner workings of special operations at that point. So I sat down with the 2 Air Force dudes and just kind of shoot the shit with them, trying to figure out exactly what it is that they did and what brought them to airborne school with a bunch of Army dudes. So fast forward a couple of minutes later, they broke it down to me as far as who they were and what they were doing, right? And once they laid out their pipeline for me, it started to open my eyes as far as the level of training that these guys have to do just to become combat controllers. And for you guys that aren't familiar with the term combat controllers, so combat controller is a special operation unit within the United States Air Force. All right, combat controllers can trace their roots all the way back to World War II to their predecessors, which did their job as pathfinders. Now, if you guys didn't know, the Air Force used to be part of the Army. It was just the U.S. Army Air Corps back then. Now, once they split and the Air Force became its own branch, some of the Army Pathfinders went over and became Air Force Pathfinders. And once they were on the Air Force side, the Air Force just converted them to combat controllers. That's a tad bit of history that I didn't know, but I found out while I was doing research for this particular episode, right? So what exactly do these guys do? These guys can do a variety of different things. Now, if you think of MARSOC, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Rangers, I have a concept that says we're all like toasters, right? All 4 of us are like toasters because we all pursue, pressure, punish. We all move, shoot, communicate, medicate, educate. We all do all that stuff, right? But the combat controller, they have to be able to do all that stuff also, plus be able to manage air assets. They have to be able to get into the stack and flow into a house and conduct CQB. They got to be able to put up a door charge. They got to be able to do special reconnaissance. All of the missions that the Rangers, MORSOC, SEALs, and Green Berets do, these guys have to be able to accomplish those same mission, plus accomplish their mission, which is controlling air assets, right? That's just one of the big ones that I know of. I know they do other things, but again, I'm just speaking to you guys from my experience as far as what I've seen them do at the highest level. Now that we know what they do, guys, like how do you go about becoming a combat controller? Now with everything that is soft, I always encourage you guys to go out and do some research, right? Google is a wonderful tool. Now you got ChatGPT and a bunch of different AIs that can put the information right in front of you, right? But it's up to you to reach out to somebody like, I don't know, the dudes over there at One Ready to get the information to make sure that it's legit, right? So I know there's a PT test at the very beginning that you have to crush. Once you pass that PT test and you get a packet together, then you could submit it to attend selection. Now, I don't know if you guys are noticing, everything that has special forces within the title or that's soft related, there will always be a assessment process. That assessment is meant to make sure that you have the right stuff. Whatever that stuff is, right? They want to make sure that you have it before you get an invite to attend the qualification course. Once you pass selection, guys, which is approximately 4 weeks long, then you can go ahead and start the pipeline to become a combat controller. To be a fully qualified combat controller, there's a variety of phases that you have to attend and pass, right? And then you also got to be Dive and Halo qualified. Why do they do this? Because you never know who you're going to get attached to as a combat controller. You might find yourself attached to a dive team with a dive mission. You as a combat controller need to be able to plug and play, right? You got to be able to go on dives with those dudes and then go on land and execute. You might be attached to a Halo team. You got to be able to infill with those dudes via air, get on target and do work, right? So they want to make sure their guys are multi-dimensional so they can do whatever whoever they're attached to needs them to do, right? That's what is so special about these guys, and that's why I'm a fan of them. Like, they can go get attached to anybody, execute at the highest level, and be an asset, right? I'm also very impressed with these guys' professionalism, because just so you guys know, the main job of the combat controller is to hang out with that team leader, with that captain, because that's who has drop authority, right? So me and the boys are in the field, we're doing work, and we get engaged, right? We're taking heavy fire from, let's say, the berm over there, right? It's my job to call up to my captain, to my team leader, and tell him, hey, me and Junior Bravo, we're pinned down, in vicinity building, 47. We need air support time now. The captain will look at the combat controller and say, hey, what do we have overhead, right? What stacks do we have overhead? And it's his job to relate to the captain, hey, we got AC-130 gunship, we got a couple Apache, like, what do you want, right? And the captain will let him know, hey, I want 105 shells on that objective. And then the combat controller will relay that information to the bird, and they'll put rounds on target, right? They'll assess, and if we need to re-engage, they'll re-engage. He has to be smart enough and professional enough to hang out with that captain to make sure that everything goes smooth, right? And guys, since I've been running and gunning all the operations that I've done in Afghanistan, we've always had a combat controller with us, and those guys have saved our lives on several different occasions, right? If you have an interest in being a combat controller, guys, I encourage you to do your research and go for it, right? Truly an awesome force to join. If I miss anything for all my combat controllers out there, please let me know in the comment section below, guys. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.